Our panel, makers, curators, consumers, young people, and the power of pop culture, spotlights how young people are reshaping narratives through pop culture, cinema, and entertainment. Please welcome our moderator and panelists on the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are very excited for this panel, and I think this is an extremely relevant and important topic. We are all deeply cognizant of some of the series of violence and murders that have happened, particularly over the last 6 months involving young women. Interestingly, all these cases had their digital lives implicated in those narratives. And I feel that this conversation, particularly looking at digital consumption, um, the kind of content production that sort of targets young people and the kind of changes and the kind of impact it has on the lives around us. Yeah. So this is a very, very critical conversation, and we have a fantastic panel with us today. And I know this is post lunch hour, so we have a formidable foe against us. We are up against post lunch siesta. So we will try to bring some manic energy into this conversation, and I'm looking forward to a fun and engaging chat. Yeah. So starting off, we'll start off with Diksha, and we used to joke that, she's sort of our tokenist sort of youth representative, but Diksha is also critical. There's this very exciting study that Breakthrough did a couple of years ago on pop culture, and she was one of the study participants. So she's been part of this sort of journey that Breakthrough has, and of course, as most of you know, pop culture and media work is sort of in our DNA, right? It's part of Breakthrough's genesis story. We're deeply invested in it. So, as part of our ongoing studies of looking at pop culture, we had this research, and we spoke to a whole bunch of young people cutting across different strata, and we wanted to understand what are their consumption patterns. So starting off, Diksha, if you could perhaps reflect a little on, I know it's been now 3, 4 years down the line, but if you could maybe speak a little about what do youth want, like what is the kind of content that they watch. I'd also request you to reflect on not just your peers. I know that you do some very interesting work with young people from different communities in Bangalore. So if you could also perhaps talk about that a little.
I will start off with the experience in Bangalore. So I'm working with this small girls' home near my house, and I spend the weekends teaching them, just gossiping with them, and just there with these girls. And they actually come from families that they don't really know the whereabouts of. So it's very interesting to kind of compare what I watch when I'm free versus what they are watching and how they are going about just consuming content. So I think the most interesting part was when we talk to people in our focused groups. We talked to a lot of women from the urban and rural areas who did not have unsupervised access for phone. However, the girls that I met, they did have their own privacy, which most kids don't get. What I realized though was the difference of the kind of content that we are watching and how they go about just watching reels around the Bollywood movies and Tollywood movies that they're already watching. So it's not the diversification within content, it's essentially through different mediums consuming the same, like similar ideas around it. However, I did find that them to be much more aware about the underlying ideas that are promoted through movies than the ones that we talk to when we talk to people who have their parents around and have, a certain screening done for them.
When we spoke to young people, there was a gender disparity in the way they looked at content. A lot of young men, and also interestingly, some young women as well. A lot of these prankster videos, and I don't want to name the personalities who are sort of big on the kind of content that is generated, right? So there's a lot of prankster videos, there are a lot of spoof videos. So do you see, what are the kind of disparities that you see in terms of gender and in terms of their social location, perhaps?
A lot of people just were just watching different blogs around people traveling through the world and realizing that most people uh, might just be traveling constantly through their lives, which is not exactly true. And the other part was that what we call radical plus brain rot combination that most of us women are watching, which thought was missing when I talked to my guy friends, that they so I would watch 3 or 4 reels around the current news and how certain parts of the society are suffering, certain women have experienced something, and I would go to my guy friend to talk about it. But their real section is just Spider-Man and what happened in the last Avengers movie, and they're very happy about it. So we live in very different realities, and I think that kind of has created some gap in the conversations that we would want to have, and the conversations that they are now, since inherently watching for such a long time, are interested in.
So that, I mean, that's an interesting point, and I think it might also, maybe I could use this to segue to you, Soumya, because we are in the era of extremely gendered content, right? And there's a certain imagination around what would work for women and what would work for different audiences. And I know that you are an unapologetic sort of feminist on in your online persona, and you mention it, and you're sort of really upfront about it, and that's a very unique thing, right? And you don't see that across. And I also ask this because one thing that we do realize is that women, young women particularly, don't matter quite a lot as an audience for mainstream content makers, like your mainstream cinema or your mainstream content. So, what is it like for you as a young person who's making interesting content and fun content?
When I started out, actually my first video, I'm a master's in finance. I was working in marketing till the age of 23, and suddenly pandemic fell upon us, and I started creating content. My first video was when people say they are feminist, but there is always a but attached to it, and it just took off. Imagine my first video was about my lived experiences as a feminist, as a woman in this country. And um like now when other people talk to me is when I realized, oh, I have a pattern. I talk about women. Oh, I talk about moral justice. Whoa. Because in my head, I'm just talking about my experiences, and turns out I have lived this world एज़ अ वुमन अ लॉट लाइक मुझे बहुत दर्द होता है जब मुझे किसी चीज़ के लिए मना किया गया, मैं क्यों नहीं जा सकती? सो दोज़ आर द टाइम्स व्हेन यू थिंक कि मेरी बेसिक राइट्स एज़ अ वुमन द पे 2 people and my parents love me a lot. They're great parents. They are focused on my career, my studies. बचपन से they put me in schools that they couldn't even afford because they wanted me to get out of there. बट इवन देन माय डैड वाज़ लाइक बाहर जाकर बहुत अच्छे पैसे कमाओ लेकिन 7 बजे से पहले घर आ जाओ। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता था 2 people who are supposed to love me so much are causing me so much pain, and when I tell them that they're causing me pain, they think it's a frivolous pain कि तुम्हारी बाहर जाने से तुम्हारा पेन कैसे जुड़ा है? हम तुम्हें जाने तो देते हैं पढ़ने के लिए, कई माँ-बाप जाने नहीं देते। So if you compare yourself to the worst, you'll always look good. But I understand where they came from. I come from UP, and it's not a very safe place to be as a woman. But it still shapes you. So when I was telling these stories, I realized there is 50% population out there who wants honest content out of you. There are movies made around. मैंने जितनी 4 movies last देखी हैं, except for this Malayalam movie that came out recently, Loka.
Yeah.
Except for that, there are 5 movies in theater right now for the 50% of the population. The remaining 50%, what are they gonna do? I mean, Netflix, OTTs, they have really good content on women. There was like Kala, there were movies that were only for women, by women. And those are the kind of stories that work really well, at least in our circles. So, ऐसा नहीं है कि चलता नहीं है. If you want it to make 300 crores, that is not possible because we are living in a society जहाँ पर 30% औरतें ही सिर्फ employed हैं. और हर 10-100 रुपए की टिकट लेके रिक्शे वाले या कोई भी जा सकता है मूवीज देखने के लिए। लेकिन आप अगर स्टोरीज ही नहीं बताएँगे एक पर्टिकुलर साइड की, तो यही स्टारवेशन होगा, लोग मुझ में वो कंटेंट ढूँढ रहे हैं। मैं 1 मिनट की या 2 मिनट की वीडियोज़ बनाती हूँ। मैं आपके लिए कंटेंट का वो उतना बड़ा पिलर ऐसे I'm grateful that I am. But there needs to be stories that are longer, that are long form, that are when I see the movie, I'm like, wow, मैंने कुछ देखा है. Like I saw this movie, a Danish movie called The Worst Person in the World, and I was like, that girl is such a, and I was like, but I am that person on so many days. Even if that person is not the most, positive sunshine coming out of her face, but it's a character, it's a story, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I try to tell those stories, even if it is flawed, it's flawed. 1 मिनट में जो हो जाए.
जो आपको मिलता है, do you get like feedback or comments? Like, what is your engagement like for the kind of content that
My engagement is like some 82% or something, which is great because I don't have a lot of followers, but like there are women in the comments section I just met a woman outside who told me that, she loves my content. She turned the car around. She gave me a rose and all. And it's all only women. I've never met a man who's been like, so she told me the other day that she sent my picture to her boyfriend. And he was like, who is she? And when my boyfriend told at his workplace that, oh yeah, actually her name is Soumya, she makes content, you can ask her. And she's like, oh, that's Soumya. So his male colleagues didn't know me, but all female colleagues knew me. So that is what I think I've earned also. And I really take pride in the fact that जिनके लिए मैं बना रही हूँ, वो उसको देखकर रिलेट कर पा रहे हैं, उन्हें अच्छा लग रहा है वो देखकर. That is like a great accomplishment for me personally.
So, I mean, there are a lot of fascinating points there, but I think if I can pick up on the relatability bit, right? And I can maybe again come to you, Mahima, for that. So, I mean, you're part of Netflix, of course, a global platform. And I wanted to particularly ask because, I mean, we all know Netflix is an expensive platform. And historically, ye raha hai ki, it's always had a certain kind of strata of people subscribing to the content. And I remember that when we chatted earlier on, you said that now, of course, Netflix has a sort of a strategy in place to engage the non-urban youth. So if you could maybe reflect on how you also see these sort of geographic and, for the lack of sort of class variations in your audience or your consumers.
Let me talk a little bit about Netflix. So I'm happy to give some, backstory as well of how some people like us end up doing work like this. Because all your experiences do shape you, and that's why you're attracted to certain kind of jobs. When you were talking about your parents, I thought I grew up in an all-girls boarding school, right? And so, but not in a negative way, I would say. When we had our 10-year, 15-year batch reunion, they asked me to send in something just to think about my time there. And as I was writing it, it struck me. I said, well, the sports captain was a girl, right? The captain of the basketball team, the hockey team, whatever team, the school captain was a girl. Every person in leadership around me from the age of 9 to 18 was a girl. So when I came out of boarding school and I came to Delhi for college and I, subsequently studied in other cities, I just felt like girls can do anything because that's what my vision was. And so I just carried that with me. And so I'm very passionate about that role of women and girls in society because I just feel like I had a very strong support system that I still carry with me now on WhatsApp because we don't see each other so often. Yeah, talking about Netflix. So you can look at it from two angles. One is, yes, Netflix is more expensive than some of the other products out there. That's a choice. But the amount we spend on one evening in the movies, you can happily afford a Netflix subscription and get a very, very large repertoire and enjoy yourself the entire month or probably more than 1 month. The reason why or how Netflix sees its contribution to what you're watching at home is actually that the idea is to bring cinematic television to your screens. So what was the investment in a movie that would only come in the theaters? And so the idea was that you have a big budget because you see it on the big screen. That proposition has been turned on its head. And of course in India we're used to movies, but that idea of developing series the way many of us may have experienced them as American shows, initially, or maybe soap operas in the Indian context, is to be able to develop that kind of genre. And so that has been the idea in India to basically get, ideally, cinematic level television to your homes. And as Netflix is expanding, as we had discussed, you do end up in the first phase getting the early adopters because those are the people who recognize the brand, right? They recognize what Netflix means. And once you kind of get that audience in, then naturally, for any brand who is expanding, you will end up going into audiences who are not familiar with you. They are not familiar with why should I pay this subscription fee? What is the catalog? Oh, you mean I don't put on the TV and 9 o'clock something comes, 10 o'clock something comes. I have to spend time choosing, and Netflix and many other platforms are, while they have an algorithm, they are also very personalized. So if you are looking for something or you like something or you tell Netflix that you like something, it will look for more things that would be in the same range. So you can really personalize your experience. You can choose what you want to watch. We give you a lot of information around age, and descriptors. So really, you can find things that you can watch together as a family. You can find things that cater to you. And you can find things that cater to a group. So I think there's a lot of choice there. Uh, And so that's how Netflix is thinking of itself. And as we go deeper into markets, trying to understand, are there new genres we can develop in India that have not been tested on TV before? What kind of stories are resonating? We get immediate feedback because we also are able to see what people are watching, how much do they start it, do they continue with the show? And so trying to experiment on a range of stories and characters and give opportunity through that slate to new talent and to new creators, including women filmmakers as well.
Because particularly you mentioned how your content is of course curated in a certain way, right? And I was curious to know how would geographic disparities, if at all, do they play a role in the way content is imagined and executed for Netflix? Because again, you're a global affairs director. I know that this, and I also asked this in comparison with a lot of other streaming platforms and also regional OTTs, because there's a now sort of explosion of that. Yeah. So could you also, and also considering a lot of cinema has gone back to so-called small towns जहाँ पे ऐसी होती है, there's a certain characterization that was. So how does this figure in this Netflix's imagination?
From the global part first and then about India. So, Netflix as a company has opened offices and produces content locally in many, many countries, India being one of them. So, the idea is that your platform is global, but you produce content and you enable creators in the country where this content is going to be watched. So, we are definitely at the moment, Netflix, of course, is producing a lot of content in Hindi, right? So, there's a lot of stories coming out of that belt. We are expanding content out of the South as well. So we have, and those are all distinct industries. So in Telugu, we are starting original programming. In Tamil, we are going to start original programming. And then we are licensing from around different industries as well. And then slowly, as these things build up and you see a pickup on Netflix, and they will refine their strategies. So the idea really is to create like that Indian thali, in the end. But you have to go slow because ultimately you have to see where the audience is going, whether they like that kind of offering and whether they prefer something else on Netflix when they come. Because the expectation, and most of you would know this, when you come on to certain different apps, whether it's a Instagram or Netflix or YouTube, you have a different expectation of what you're going to watch over there. And I think the audience is quite sophisticated now. And so your audience knows how they're going to see you on Instagram, and they will not at all be surprised if you're posting something else on LinkedIn, for example. Like it's not going to make. So we also have to understand what are they looking to us to put on Netflix and then provide that. And if we don't do it, you cancel the monthly subscription and we lose a subscriber.
Which is a question of role models, right? And this is a kind of what, particularly when the digital and the cases that I was referred to while opening our session, there is a lot of aspiration around digital. And that's why for young people, it is aspiration, right? You want an Insta profile, you want a certain kind of persona out there. But we are also in the times of your trad wives and there is a certain feminized, there's a glorification of very gendered roles. There's also pushback. Interesting. I was reading this very interesting article in the New Yorker on tradwife, and there was this concept, and I thought it was very interesting logic, which is that women who did household work felt that they were being represented a certain way and they were getting a certain, and I thought that was an interesting, it's provocative for sure. But so I mean, how do you think that there are digital role models for young people, particularly for young women, particularly in the absence of general role models, like not just in the digital space? But yeah.
I think specifically for teens and tweens right now, I'm old, surprisingly, is what I understood after talking to these people. The kind of things that you need to use right now, right? So even for skincare, charcoal masks were a thing, and after that, mud mask became a thing, and everybody was like, "Hey, charcoal mask is bad," and that kept going on, and now everything is bad, but something like you find something good, and the next few reels you realize that, oh, even this is bad. So it's a constant circle, not just in case of skincare, but even if there's a show that you like, and if you're like a feminist who has internet, you'll find like a critique of that show within 5-10 minutes of watching that show and discussing with your friends because Zach is listening to everything. That happened to Brooklyn Nine-Nine with me. I was watching Jake and Amy, and I realized that they were so stereotypical of their characters, and no matter how much Amy is working hard, she can't be better than Jake. And that's something I never realized, and I love that show. That was my brain rot show. But now that's not the case anymore. And talking about trad wives on the internet, they're not trad wives, they're influencers pretending to be trad wives. And not a lot of people really think about it. Even myself, when I'm had like a really hectic work day and I log off at 11:30 p.m. and I open my phone and somebody's just in their kitchen wearing a Versace dress and cooking something from scratch, I would rather do that, yes, but realistically, no. So that gap that I understand that, hey, realistically, I can't do this is something that I've found missing in a lot of people younger than me. And that is actually kind of sad because if you're not looking for feminist content, if you're not talking about those things, it doesn't come up on your feed. So if you are in a engineering class surrounded by guys, you don't really realize that there have been women engineers who have done exceptionally great, because that's just feminist content now. So role model, finding one and sticking with it in the cheap dopamine circles, it's not possible is what I've understood. So I think it's nitpicking of every popular culture that there is and just combining it together, and until you realize that, oh, okay, this is problematic as well now.
I suppose actively thinking about feminist values and principles, and then of course you gravitate and you make the effort to go to a certain kind of content, right? But उसमें मुझे ये भी interesting लगा था कि what about lot of people who are sort of fence sitters, जिनको पता नहीं है, जो butt वाले जो है, बहुत lot of butt. And I love the term that you used, and this is Soumya's original creation, which is palatable feminism. And I figured, yes, we are in the age of where everything has to be made palatable, digestible, acceptable. It has to be. It has to be an elevator pitch. It has to be, if you can pitch your feminism, I suppose, in as shorter form as whatever. But I want you to perhaps reflect also, because your content, you touch upon the family quite a bit. And that is, even today, almost impossible for us as feminist organization, as feminists, we know. And we see that there is a re-celebration, reincarnation of what that family, and a lot of movements have spent years and decades fighting it, right? So I want to hear from you, what is an imagination that fuels the kind of content that you make, and and you've mentioned that it resonates beautifully. So if you can just walk us through that.
मैंने स्टार्टिंग में 2-4 ऐसे वीडियोस बनाए थे जिसमें मैंने आंटी आंटी लिख दिया था, और एक आंटी ने मेरे घर आना बंद कर दिया था बिकॉज़ वो समझ गई थी कि वो है वो। My parents were losing friends left, right and center. I couldn't do it to them. So I was like, you are going to be all the aunties, mummy, you are going to be. I just put a disclaimer. Actually, this one is not my mom. Yeah. So the whole point of making it family content is for people. So it was an active choice. I think 2 years into it, maybe, because I was making a lot of content. I saw खुद ही से, मतलब it was very organic that girls liked what I was making and liked my voice. So मुझे लड़कियां ही मैसेज करती थी अच्छे, लड़के तो करते ही हैं लेकिन अच्छे नहीं होते थे वो. So they either want to marry or they want to kill you. Like there's no in between. So when women used to message me, I was like, oh wow, this is a niche I've hit and I know a lot about it. Let me just continue on this. तो मुझे लगा कि family बहुत easy palatable content है कि आप if you say it as a mom in a relatable way, people tend to hear it more in comparison to any other. If I make like a rant video, people have like high opinions. Like there are men in the comment section that are just like, ruining the vibe. And if you do it as a character, same dialogues. They're going to be like, oh, my mom says this. Even the men are going to be like, oh, meri mummy aisi hai. So you like the palatable feminism is like you serve it like that. Ki, what I'm saying is there, but like through a medium that you, mummy ko koi disrespect nahi kar sakta. So like that way it just works. And also इस पूरे प्रसंग में इस पूरे उसमें ये लाइक एट द एंड ऑफ इट आई रियलाइज्ड कि मैं अच्छी वुमेन स्टोरीज बता सकती हूँ. धीरे धीरे यू डिस्कवर दीज थिंग्स अबाउट योर सेल्फ, एंड हर किसी का नीश होता है, बट मोस्टली द वुमेन दैट आई मीट, अकॉम्प्लिश्ड वुमेन दैट आई मीट, दे आर very feminist in nature. I like that about people who are like, say, 30 years older to me. Women who are 30 years older to me are very strong in their values. Even the professors that I meet in my college who are a little old. The teacher, my LKG teacher, was never married. She was to stay in Sitapur. She was very like, शी वॉज सो स्ट्रॉन्ग। तो मैंने लाइक बचपन में आई जस्ट थॉट कि एक प्रिंसिपल होता है लाइफ में जिसको आप पकड़ के चलते हो, ये गलत हो ही नहीं सकता। तो जब आप पेरेंट्स को भी ना आपकी 15 साल से आपके उम्र में दिखने लगता है कि इस बच्चे के प्रिंसिपल्स इस मामले में बहुत स्ट्रांग है, मैं छितर-बितर हो सकती हूँ, आई माइट हैव लाइक वेरी स्कैटर्ड ओपिनियंस अबाउट एवरीथिंग एल्स, बट अबाउट दिस वन थिंग मुझे पढ़ना है, मुझे अपने पैसे कमाने हैं, मुझे लाइफ में कुछ अच्छा करना है अपने लिए। These are three things that my parents also never thought that they can budge me from. Like my dad is a very stubborn man, but he budged. He was like, कि ठीक है, do whatever you want, because they were tired of scolding me for so many years that they just gave up after a point. कि जैसा तुम्हें सही लगे. So मुझे ऐसे सही लगता है, तो it works for me, and I think more women should emphasize to their parents head on कि everything I'll follow. आप जो बोलोगे मैं वो करूँगी, because there are certain rules for women in the society, but these are three things I will not budge from. Just that is palatable feminism, क्योंकि आप pragmatic world में आप नहीं सोच सकते कि आपकी 100 की 100 ख्वाहिशें पूरी होंगी। जिन्हीं भी 3 देता है। तो
और negotiables जो आपकी है।
आप अपनी 3 बहुत वाइज़ली यूज़ करो। मुझे बाहर अच्छे स्कूल में कॉलेज में पढ़ने जाना है। मुझे अपने हिसाब से नौकरी करनी है और अपने हिसाब से रहना है। और तीसरा, मैं अपने अपने ही हिसाब से शादी करूँगी, बिकॉज़ दीज़ आर 3 वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजंस इन योर लाइफ। और अगर थोड़ा बहुत सुनना भी पड़ रहा है किसी और चीज़ की वजह से, तो थोड़ा सुन के साइड हो जाओ, बिकॉज़ यू नीड दैट मनी, यू नीड दैट सपोर्ट। इट्स अ गुड थिंग टू हैव योर पेरेंट्स सपोर्ट। लाइक इट्स इमोशनली वेरी कम्फर्टिंग, इवन इफ वो आपने एक्सटॉर्ट किया है सपोर्ट। या
मैं ये 6 चीज़ करूँगी और फिर
या वो
अब
मुझसे
मुझे
प्यार
ये बस दे
वो
दो।
मुझसे प्यार एक्सटॉर्ट कर रहे हैं। मैं एटलीस्ट केयर और वो तो कर ही सकती हूँ, उनकी बेसिक है वो तो। So that is why I feel like palatable feminism works the best, because it benefits you. It doesn't matter what happens to the movement. It matters what you as an individual 18-year-old girl wants. If you want to lie for it, lie for it. Just go ahead. झूठ बोल दो कि सब जा रही हैं लड़कियाँ।
तो तो उसमें लाइक I mean there are a lot of fun things that you've said, but उसमें एक चीज जो मुझे उठा, one thing that I really wanted to pick up is the idea of women telling stories and the kind of stories that are told, right? And how that makes a difference. And we're increasingly seeing, and you mentioned the Malayalam film, and Malayalam cinema में I mean obviously एक watershed moment हुआ जिसकी वजह से हुआ. And I was also interested in Mahima's listing of the South industries, and I noticed that the Malayalam film industry is not really there, not yet there. But there have been some massive, and a lot of it was because of the Women in Cinema Collective, right? And हम representation की बात तो उठाती ही है, but I think a lot of it is also around materiality, and जो हम उतना बात नहीं करते. We don't talk about the tangibles, like, and which is why Mahima, because I know you've done some excellent and extensive work and policies around this. If you could also, and your job, one of your job descriptions is to build these sort of bridges and partnerships, right? So that these different entities speak to one another. How do you make, if not feminist content, like gender sensitive content travel? And how do you get that message across? Particularly yesterday, हमारे एक panel में किसी ने बोला था कि we don't engage enough with the market, like the market dynamics. And we are decidedly, the entertainment industry is decidedly sort of determined by commerce, yeah? So how do you see that? And how do you figure, particularly for creators, particularly for the money people, how do you make this message work?
You know, before I started working for tech companies and handling their public policy in India, I used to work for a think tank. And we had this very big conference that we done, the first one that we done. And I was the person running around doing the agenda, but arranging the conference as well. And when the 3 days got over, I said to my boss that I'm not going to do this again if they're going to be manals. This is before people started talking about manals, and I did not know that term manals. But I said, I'm not going to run around like this again. You have to have, and and I used to hear, oh, but we don't have anyone, we don't know an expert in this subject. Oh, that person's too junior. And I said, doesn't matter. Everybody needs a first opportunity. We're going to put them on the dais. Like, it's the way it's going to be. And I was very clear about it, because I felt like if I am spending my time and this is the result, I'm not feeling pretty good about what I'm doing. So, there are ways in which we can show up in different settings. I worked at Twitter for 6 years, and that's when I first met Breakthrough. And one of the first things we did as a company here in India was to reach out to a lot of women's organizations or organizations working on women's issues. Some of them, like Breakthrough, were aware of what was happening on social media. Some of them were not. So we had meetings with them to tell them, hey, this is what's happening on the internet. This is where it's going wrong. This is how we can educate people in terms of how to try to take back some level of control. And then what you tell me, right, as consumers, as groups who are experts in what is happening on the ground, I will then take back to my company to say, hey, maybe we need a few more buttons, we need a few more settings, we need to change our policies. And I will represent to the best of my ability that view to the government also as they think about these issues, so that we don't have anything which is like band-aid, or we don't have anything that is not prioritized, which is normally what it is, but really try and have collaborative conversations about where to take this sector next. And so we tried, as a company that had a lot of heft, to include more people in that room and to include them in many discussions and to say, you need to hear from them as well. We're not the only stakeholder. Now, when I started this journey working in tech, at least for our audience, I would say the demographic split at that time was probably a 70% male audience and a 30% female audience. Or I think actually when I started, it was probably 20-80. So even when women were speaking on social media platforms, and they were feeling like they were drowned out, it's because they actually were. There just were not enough of them. And so, if you curated your timeline in the way that you followed all, the women you admire, that was probably all the women who were like on a particular platform. This story changed, of course, with internet adoption, and these platforms started becoming more. In India, I would wager a guess. I don't know the final numbers, but we're still probably not 50-50, right? So, like, just how many people are online, how they are able to access something. Coming to Netflix, because that's where I am now, you know, uh, I'll say from a product point of view, and then maybe from, if you were to look, there are, when you're on social media, we can all be in different realities. You mentioned that, the girls are watching something else and the boys, like, yeah, my husband's watching all these gym videos and I'm not watching them. So, sometimes we're consuming different things, but we at least read the same newspaper, right? So, if you look at Netflix, for example, you've got these trending sections. That's like kind of like everybody can kind of at least agree to see the same shows and talk about the same shows, whether you like it or not. I mean, there's at least a focal point where you can say, okay, have you seen this movie? Have you seen this show? It's a really good way of making connections with people. We call it like water cooler talk, and also friends groups. You're saying people go into fandom, they really like something. That's not where their engagement ends. They actually want to give their own take on that. And so you see all the social media filled with people and their own take on it, whether they liked the character, the movie, they thought it was stupid, they thought it was amazing. So there's a little bit of that. Then you see on the product that based on what you are liking or based on what you're engaging on, I get those because you like the strong female lead, here are other movies like that. Or because you like crime, there's, or of course, I have a young daughter, so there's a lot of cartoon stuff that makes its way into our feed. So, trying to also cater to the kind of content and including, there will be winners of certain awards made by female, strong female leads. So I think that on the product is a way of like just surfacing to you what else is there based on what you're looking for as well. I've been saying this for like 15 years at this point. All of us are not passive consumers of these products. There is a lot in there that you can make it tailor to yourself. And there's a lot of signals you can give to say, I don't like this. So you must also understand the power you have as a consumer in this entire. I sometimes it may feel like you don't, but it is there. And so, part of what we also then do is as a company, we're looking to see in the media and entertainment sector, for example, where I sit today, what is the vision that the government has for this sector? So our government today does see this sector as a very big like employment skilling, employment generator, because media and entertainment, so far many of the companies have been catering to a domestic audience. But with global platforms like Netflix, a story that you make today or a show that comes on Netflix India today is automatically available on day one in about 190 countries. And so you can actually have your story told outside this collective out here in multiple languages, in multiple cultural contexts, and it can travel. So seeing the value of like these things, and of course that it's a growing industry, we try and stay aligned to like how do you healthily grow the industry. Some of it is to do with the pipes, which is to say we work on network fees issues and we work on net neutrality issues. And so, how does the market make sure that you're able to get these things and you're able to watch it in the ease and the price points that you want. Secondly, we talk a lot about what is the skilling needed. If the technology is moving in a certain way, people are going to be using more VFX, more AI tomorrow. They're going to be, where is it going? What skills do we need to upskill people to be able to do that work out of India? And we shouldn't lose our momentum to some other work, which is upskilling its labor. So we do those kind of talks, and then we do schemes at Netflix. For example, I have something called the Netflix Fund for Creative Equity that our team looks at globally. So we'll do these projects. So we have one going on right now on VFX, for example, which is there is a role called a VFX supervisor. And many women do have those roles. But some of them then go out of work for a couple of months and they come back and the tech is moved and the projects have moved. So yeah, so we're doing a back to work program, for example, through upskill. This is just something that we do. We are currently doing a project with 8 universities. It's like an animation upskilling workshop. So they get to work on projects when they graduate. They'll have that on their CV. So there's a little bit of it that we're able to do some skilling workshop. But the bulk of it is also looking at the content that is being created in India. We're trying to make sure that the market conditions are such that people are able to tell the stories that they want with minimal disruption. So we have a self-regulatory mechanism right now for streaming platforms, and we would like to retain that so that to the best of our abilities, we can let the creators do what they want, and they can put those shows and movies onto Netflix and we can beam it out. So those are kind of the places where we do policy, and the place where we intersect is we try and make all our different, like the stories I've told you, there are students involved, there are universities involved, there are people who are conducting the workshops who are, very good at some kind of software skilling. There are places like this, and you try and get them on the same plane and you arrange
They're not in
conversations
silos at
so
all.
that ideas can travel. Yeah.
Mm. Just one quick follow-up to that. There's also some sort of, because it's contested, like a lot of digital viewership numbers in India, particularly for OTT platforms, are opaque, right? You don't really get them. So I was curious to know, how does that influence? Because audience is this amorphous entity. I know a lot of cinema people have been obsessed with it. कि इस हमारी इस audience को ये नहीं पसंद आएगा. And these are all like sort of, I mean, these are all calculations, right? There are like sort of assessments, not necessarily based on like hard facts. These are largely preferences or जो भी हो. And इस माहौल में, what is like a streaming platform, considering the digital viewership numbers are not there? How do other entities who are part, like for example, a CSO like us, who want to engage with it, where the numbers is not very clear to us, do you have any suggestions or mechanisms? I know there's some kind of a policy intervention in the pipeline, but I don't know if that's, so we could also perhaps talk about that briefly.
So there is a conversation around how do you do audience measurement, because right now it's happening with broadcast, but you don't have it across. I mean, it's not just about streaming. I think it's across platform, and a lot of that because advertisers want that kind of information.
Beyond
Today, yeah,
TRPs as well, no?
yeah. So today, I mean, obviously, like a Netflix would know how many people are watching Netflix, what they are watching. Every company decides in its own time what are the numbers they want to disclose, and that's as companies, there are many different decisions that go into disclosing certain numbers. What we do though is we release these reports to the public, which are called engagement reports. And so you can go and see what kind of content is actually the most popular. And that is also one way of really being able to make out that, we say we want this kind of content, but what are we actually watching? I remember this. It was one of my favorite quotes back in the day where, you remember when Facebook used to have the algo where you just got Facebook. So, that long ago, you got everything as as your friends posted it. And then they changed it and it became a ranked algorithm, which we're very used to today, a ranked algorithm. Uh, and people were complaining and oh my God, this is going to kill it. And I remember Mark Zuckerberg had a statement that says, yeah, no, I've heard all the criticisms. I've also seen the engagement numbers. I know what people are doing and I know how much longer they're spending. So they are actually enjoying it, though they're not saying. So I think sometimes reports like the engagement report tells you what are people actually watching. That also helps us understand maybe if there are gaps, right, in the kind of content. And like I said, exploring with genres, exploring with new filmmakers. So that's kind of what helps come up with this. That's not a decision that I make. We have content teams who look at that part of the company. Yeah.
But it's curious, and I mean, perhaps related to this, Soumya, how do you because they're obviously decided commerce hai isme. Like, a lot of people, particularly content creators, your influencers are there. A lot of them make a lot of money. A lot of them have also transitioned to really exciting film careers. And you can't wish away. And this is something that we talk to a lot of cinema people as part of our work. And they say, but aapko pata nahi ki the quantum of money that's involved. So messaging is well and good at its end, but there is so much of all of this involved, right? So how does commerce come into the way that you make your decisions, your process of creation?
If you're true to what you're doing, like if that is your personality, your audience likes it, it accepts it for you. Brands do not care. Brands have guidelines, certain guidelines, but uh, the kind of audience that, for example, I have or Vagmata has, or a few of my contemporaries who are very women led in terms of their content, they're making great money because they have audience from 18 to 35 women का एज ग्रुप में एंड समटाइम्स 35 to 45, and for every brand they are the prime consumers for anything you can imagine, from clothes to household items to even electronics and everything. At this point, women are prime. Like when I send them my insights, they're very happy with the fact that I have 78% women audience. So for them, that is, every marketing in this country is directed towards that consumer. So if you have it, they have certain guidelines. You can't do political stuff because of the climate. You can't do religious stuff and all. But other than that, barring a few brands, they're very happy to, in at least this kind of atmosphere. It's a new age medium to advertise, and the commerce involved in it is just as good as, like, say, uh, सेम लेवल पे अगर देखा जाए तो बॉलीवुड सेलिब्रिटीज एंड ऑल ऑफ दीज पीपल आर मेकिंग सो मच मनी विद 3 hours मूवी. 1.5 minute reel pays really well if you're like a big person on internet. So when we talk about this commerce, brands are very much, as long as you're not saying something very problematic, brands are very aligned with your politics. If they know that about me, if I have established the fact that I am a feminist, it's not like they're going to attack you for it. They are very happy with the fact that this is your politics. As long as it's not hateful, they're very accommodating of it, actually. They like the characters that I've made. And behind those brands, at the end of the day, are people who have seen your content. मुझे जितनी भी, like, in the last 3-4 years, whatever brand work and whatever I've done, most of the people that I meet are women in this industry, media industry. Women are like doing A plus job at it. So when they come to me, उसमें से 6-8 में से अगर किसी ने एक भी मेरी रील देखी, तो उन्हें पता है कि अच्छा ठीक है, थोड़ा वुमेन लेड कंटेंट है, हमें हमें वैसा ही आपसे कुछ चाहिए, क्योंकि हमें ऑर्गेनिकली इसको प्रमोट नहीं करना है और पैसे नहीं डालने, हमें ऑर्गेनिकली परफॉर्म करना है, ऐसा चाहिए. सो आपकी ऑडियंस ऑर्गेनिकली तभी देखेगी अगर वो आपके ऑडियंस का आपके कंटेंट का एक कंटिन्यूएशन है, उससे अलग नहीं जाके खड़ा हो रहा है. So that way, yeah, it is as long as you're not problematic, it's not really a.
Mediums में कोई फर्क है, like Insta, YouTube? One thing that we've realized
YouTube
that
pays really well. There are lesser, yeah,
no?
there are lesser restrictions there. The content form is longer. The only problem with my kind of content is I make reels that are shareable. YouTube has that problem where you can't share this with your female friends. You can't send it to the group. और आजकल YouTube link you only your parents send you. That is the reality of it. I'm not sending YouTube link. I'm not the loser of that group. Check this out is what I would say. I would never send a link. I'm not putting that much effort. They're gonna think, oh my god, what a loser.
Okay.
So there is a difference in the platform in terms of accessibility. I think that way it's accessible. The commerce is obviously different because
Yeah.
it's a long form content. It takes a lot. Like one video takes 15-20 days to make. Like one 5-minute video. So उस मामले में I think वो difference वो है, but बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है. मतलब एक commerce का उतना difference नहीं है जितना हमें लगता है, क्योंकि long form और short form. But yeah, it reaches the audience is the point.
YouTube, do you think it reaches like a more diverse group?
I think so, yeah. It reaches like how Instagram is specifically designed to get you, like, जैसे अभी हम brain rot की बात कर रहे हैं, तो पिछले 1-1.5 साल में like when I started being on Facebook, which was like, I don't know, I mean, I wasn't on it.
Facebook, I don't know.
I don't know, मतलब,
Just a
I know the pages were there, that RCVJ and all, they were all run by men. And now in the last 2-3 years, मेरे फीड पे सिर्फ लड़कियों वाले मीम्स आते हैं कि like there is this really angry girl going and like returning and she is like चाट वाले ठेले पे लड़के दिख गए. And I'm just like, this is so specific. This is made by a woman. So like those kind of memes, like now there are meme pages, admin who are women, and if you told me this like 5 years ago कि लड़कियां भी कर रही होंगी, I would not have believed you. But the landscape has changed so much that there is space for everybody. तो वो I think एक आपका algorithm, आप जो देख रहे हो उसके बिल्कुल, like I think my algorithm knows me better than my parents and I love it.
My disturbing, but it's okay.
I don't have any problem. I whisper into phone like sometimes कि तू देख ले, मेरा phone type करने का मन नहीं है.
Shashwati, are you listening? But yeah,
Yeah.
but उसमें हाँ, I suppose yeah, this is an unapologetic AI sort of.
I mean, AI should be used for this. They're not supposed to do writing and making filmmaking on my behalf. That I will do. You do this ना. Tell me what products to buy, where to buy it from, where is this the cheapest. इसमें बुराई कुछ मुझे नहीं लगती personally. कि ठीक है, like technology, you have to like move on with it, move ahead with it, but just use it according to your thing. तो मुझे लड़कियों वाले चटपटे memes बहुत अच्छे लगते हैं. और गाने भी अच्छे भेजते हैं वो मेरे एल्गोरिदम से. सो इट इज सो डिजाइंड, इट इज सो टेलर्ड फॉर मी कि आई एम ऑल्सो द प्रोडक्ट दैट गोज इनटू अनदर गर्ल्स फीड. मैं चटपटे मीम्स हूँ किसी और लड़की के फीड के, विच आई लव.
It's a cycle.
It's a cycle, which I love. कि ठीक है, it's reaching the audience it's supposed to reach. And as she said that हाँ, ऑडियंस उतनी बड़ी नहीं है, 80-20 का स्प्लिट है, इसलिए आई हैव अ स्मॉलर ऑडियंस. लाइक आई हैव फ्यूअर फॉलोअर्स. आई हैव 78% ऑडियंस, विमेन ऑडियंस. पर वो परसेंटेज, वो नंबर काफी छोटा है. और स्पेशली लाइक विमेन हु आर फ्रॉम टियर 1 टियर 2 सिटीज, जो अवेयर है उनकी राइट्स के बारे में कि अच्छा ठीक है, हाँ ये हमारी बेसिक राइट्स हैं, हमें पता है, हमें होनी चाहिए ये सारी चीजें. वो आई गेस अभी उतना नहीं पेनिट्रेशन हुआ है. हम लाइक हम पहुंचे भी नहीं है अभी, टाउन्स में नहीं पहुंचे हैं. मतलब कईयों की जैसे मम्मी, कईयों की लड़कियां जैसे दिल्ली में, मुंबई में, बैंगलोर में पढ़ रही होती हैं. दे टेल मी लाइक आई रिमेंबर आई वेंट टू जापान रिसेंटली फॉर अ सोलो ट्रिप फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम. एंड मैंने वहां से स्टोरी डाली कि अगर मतलब यू नो द रीजन दैट वी आर केप्ट अंडर लाइक ऑल दीज वेल्स एंड ऑल, कि अगर हमने ये यहाँ से पहाड़ इतने सुंदर देख लिए तो यहीं से कूद के मर जाएगी पेट्रियार्की. देयर आर मिलियंस ऑफ शेयर्स ऑन इट. इट्स अ ब्यूटिफुल क्लिफ टू डाई फ्रॉम. एंड दिस इज
वो
व्हाई
वैसे इंडिया में भी दिखा सकती हूँ आपको.
मैं
Beautiful.
वी आर इंडियंस, वी डोंट लाइक आवर स्टफ. जापान के क्लिफ ज्यादा सुंदर है, उनके पत्थरों में कुछ अलग ही बात है. So when I posted this video, I got a lot of response from like women. Obviously, women are like, हमने कौन सा रोका है तुम्हें जाने के लिए. मैंने कहा मतलब ठीक है, one of you, if not you. So then there were so many women who commented on it, and one of like so many women who said ki, oh my mom sent me this, my mom saw this and she appreciated this. वो मुझे compliment बहुत मिलता है and I really like it कि मेरी मम्मी ने तुम्हारा content देखा है, she also likes it. So the language that I use and the kind of conversation that I have, वो palatable इसीलिए I have put it कि वो 45-50 plus women तक का भी पहुंचना चाहिए, जिनको इंग्लिश नहीं आती है, जिनको हमारी भाषा, जिनको हमारे स्लैंग्स नहीं आते हैं. लेकिन उनके लिए भी इम्पोर्टेंट है ये बातें सुनना कि, और वो फील करती होंगी. लेकिन वो ऑडियंस, वो अनुपमा उन तक पहुंचा ही नहीं पा रहा है, तो क्या कर सकते हैं हम.
अनुपमा मत जाओ यार, it's insanely popular. हम कुछ बता नहीं सकते इसका.
I support her. 2 husbands in 1 lifetime, girl, go for it.
Rupa Ganguly is just insane. So, and it's insanely popular. Na? कौन नहीं देखता? A lot of young people, you remember from the FGDs, we'd be surprised, it's not just 40-50-year-olds. A lot of young people, young women sit and watch Anupama. So, it begs some different questions. But connected to this point, na, Diksha, the point that Soumya was making, do you think pandemic ke baad there has been do you see a decided shift in the way consumption has happened, particularly amongst young people, and particularly the kind of mediums that are preferred? And उसमें कोई class variation geographic
I think the bigger part of the problem is that, first of all, YouTube is essentially when you're taking off from social media. So you download YouTube thinking that you won't scroll, but you just look at YouTube shorts then. What I've realized is during pandemic, I spent a lot of time with my elders around too. I was able to see what they are watching. I was able to shift my grandmother from watching like Indian soap opera to Turkish soap opera, where the woman is briefly feminist until he finds this guy. But Yeah, but then her dreams completely change, and the thing that she was fighting for in the first 30-40 minutes of the show, it doesn't make sense anymore. But still, that's better because she's able to see some part of feminist. It's like putting a pill in like a bite of food. So that was the shift that impacted me in turn, because I could see my grandmother being more open about certain ideas because of the hidden pill. But for I think teens and specifically us, I've realized that not just the content consumption in terms of the kind of content that we are watching, also the amount of it that we are watching. Like, I am constantly scrolling. My friends are constantly scrolling. There was this real trend around how there's an accident that has happened and your friend is still like in the car, and you open your phone to call the ambulance, but you start scrolling. So I think those pandemic years played a big role in that, because you were actually able to spend that time scrolling. Also, I feel like you're able to discover different contents. I have realized that my algo is synced with my period cycle at this point, and it would make me cry if I'm PMSing. So it's just I think, one, you were able to watch more shows, people around you were able to watch more shows, so there was a lot of conversations around it. And since you were conversing using your phone, there was more content on your phone regarding the same. Sometimes I get Google news notifications which are relevant, but it's very rare for me to open news. I think that's case for most people around me. We get our news from the news channels that we subscribe to on Instagram itself. I recently discovered that our feminism is actually owned by some man who keeps banning posts that are actually feminist. So, other than that, something interesting that I've noticed after pandemic, perhaps because I started understanding things better, was that there's a lot of shows like Lapata Ladies, like a lot of movies that are coming up, because, and these are conversations that we are able to have in our smaller like family circles, which was not the case with, say, Four More Shots Please, and a movie which was too radical for my parents, like Thappad. So, like, no, both of them, they were like something that could not stir the conversation in uh anything. I feel like my problem with like palatable feminism is that the radical misogyny that's also parallelly going on. It feels like we're doing lesser on that bit. And the second part is the guys. I've spent a lot of time scrolling from their phone over the weekend to understand what these guys are watching. They do not even bother sending them any reels even closely related to feminism. I told you I started going to the gym and I started getting misogynist reels. So that was very interesting. So I think the two different parts of it is, one, that a lot of like females have started using media because after the pandemic, specifically because they did not have anything to do. So finally, in some households, it got more acceptable to be able to sit down and watch a movie. Secondly, the guys that had their Discord channels on and were talking through that and all those, I don't think there's a lot of female representation in these gaming arenas and so on and so forth. So they started, getting towards more on the red pill content and things around Andrew Tate and, how to be a man and live like a caveman. Just all those things are things that have just arrived, I think, much more um exponentially after pandemic.
Just one final question to Soumya and Mahima. Soumya, one again because the mother has been touched, and I can't like at least one question on Hindi cinema, because masculinity and gendering has been, I mean, it's inherent to cinema of any kind, right? It's been part of subtext of Indian cinema, and the mother figure, पहले जो निरूपा रॉय जो हर सिनेमा में बैठ के जो प्रिस्टीन व्हाइट साड़ी में रोती रहती थी, अब थोड़ी हद, it's changed. So how do you, and because I ask you specifically because a lot of your content is around, you mentioned get the auntie who stopped visiting, but and the point that Diksha was making, try to get like slightly older women, and because we work so much on normative shifts, right? जिसमें आपको engagement आपकी is not just about individual people's mindsets changing, आपको पूरी community की या at least आपकी immediate family की mindset में थोड़ा engagement चाहिए. So has that helped? Do you see conversations around you in your immediate circles from the content? from your immediate spaces, from through your content, you see at least your friends or people coming back and saying कि this has sparked the conversation?
Generally all of us operate in our own echo chambers. तो मेरे फ्रेंड्स वही हैं जो मेरे ओपिनियन रखते हैं। मेरे पे आई लव इट कि हम बेसिक बातों पे हमें एग्री करना चाहिए। आई एम ओके विद यू नॉट एग्रीइंग ऑन लाइक इफ व्हाइट इज अ ग्रेट कलर ऑन मी और नॉट, बट वी शुड एग्री दैट आई रिजर्व इक्वल राइट्स, लाइक लिटरली इक्वल, नॉट लाइक पैलेटेबल एज यू मेंशन, वैसी नहीं, इक्वल। सो मैंने वो कॉन्वर्सेशंस आई थिंक अपने डीएम्स में देखी है, वेयरइन पीपल हैव कम एंड टोल्ड मी कि यू नो आई लव दिस वीडियो, योर वीडियो हेल्प मी डू दिस, एंड आई शोड इट टू माय मॉम, आई एम सेंडिंग इट ऑन माय फैमिली ग्रुप, एंड मैं व्हाट्सएप पे बहुत फेमस हूँ फैमिली ग्रुप्स में कि अगर अगर मैंने कुछ ऐसे डाली है कि गड़े मुर्दे सब उखाड़ सब 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 पुरानी बातों पे मिट्टी डाल देंगे तो गड़े मुर्दे कौन उखाड़ेगा। एंड आई एम जस्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट माय चाइल्डहुड ट्रॉमा कि आपने मुझे, मैम ने बोला मेरी आर्ट अच्छी है तो आपने बोला इसे मैथ्स पढ़ाइए, क्यों? So I am talking about all of these things and people are sending it on their family groups, and that I think is एक कनेक्शन बन जाता है कि आप कुछ डायरेक्टली नहीं बोल रहे हो, लेकिन आपने एक वीडियो भेज दी है जिससे पेरेंट्स को पता चल जाए। मैं भी ये बहुत करती हूँ कि कभी मुझे ऐसी कोई एंटी एस्टैब्लिशमेंट रील मिलती है जो कि ऐसे वाजपेयी जी ने कुछ ऐसी बात कही, मैं पापा को भेज देती हूँ। उन्हें पता है मैं बोल वो रहे हैं, शब्द मेरे हैं। तो these are the way that I think slight communication happens. मुझे अभी भी नहीं पता कि इम्पैक्ट, रियल इम्पैक्ट क्या है ऑफ व्हाट आई से एंड व्हाट आई डू, लेकिन 2 मिनट के लिए भी अगर इंसान को ये आइडिया लगे, मज़ाक-मज़ाक में भी अगर ये आइडिया लग जाए कि आप जब अपने बच्चे से बोलते हो कि मतलब एक बहुत ही वेल मीनिंग मदर जो कि खुद उस घर में सबसे ज़्यादा फेमिनिज़्म उन्हीं को नीडेड है। उन्हें चाहिए 9th वेव फेमिनिज़्म वहाँ से निकलने के लिए। और वो अगर आपसे बोलती हैं कि तुम ना शॉर्ट्स मत पहनना, पतली पतली टाँगों वाली लड़कियों पे शॉर्ट्स बेटर लगते हैं। वो आपसे इसलिए बोल रही है क्योंकि वो उनकी मेंटालिटी है, वो डर रही हैं कि आप रूम से बाहर निकलोगे, घर में होंगे बड़े तमाशे इस शॉर्ट्स के पीछे, एक शॉर्ट्स के पीछे। एंड वो किसी भी तरह उसको अवॉइड करना चाहती हैं। शी डज़न्ट रियलाइज़ दैट इन द प्रोसेस शी इज़ फिलिंग यू विथ सो मेनी कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज़ कि उनकी 28 साल की लड़की आज स्कर्ट पहन के बैठी है लॉन्ग। पैनल डिस्कशन में, लाइक दिस इज द इम्पैक्ट यू हैव ऑन अ चाइल्ड जिनको आप 12 साल की उम्र में कह रहे हो कि तुम्हारी पैर बहुत मोटे हैं, तुम मत पहनो स्कर्ट, तुम जीन्स में अच्छी लगती हो। जस्ट से हमारे वहाँ द फैक्ट दैट दे कांट बी डायरेक्ट विद यू इज अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ अ प्रॉब्लम, बिकॉज देन दे थिंक कि बच्चे को इतना डेंट कर दो, इतना उसकी साइकी पे प्रेशर आ जाता है। एंड आई एम श्योर दैट मदर्स डोंट मीन इट बिकॉज दे आर women, दे हैव हर्ड इट, उन्हें भी बुरा ही लगा होगा एट सम पॉइंट, बट व्हेन दे से इट,
Wisdom type की मतलब I suppose
हाँ,
well-meaning wisdom
I
to it.
think it's panic, a lot of panic mixed with ये मेरा बच्चा है, इसको मेरी बात सुननी पड़ेगी। अब वो आप हर्ट होकर सुनो या आप अपनी विलिंगली सुनो, उनको मतलब नहीं है। बाहर जाके उनकी सास और उनके पति बैठा है जो आपसे आके सवाल पूछेगा कि तुम्हारा बच्चा ऐसे क्यों बिहेव कर रहा है, जैसे बच्चे का कोई फ्री माइंड ही नहीं है। जैसे आपके बच्चे ने कल मिट्टी नहीं खाई है अपने स्वच्छंद दिमाग से। सो बच्चे की माँ को अगर आप हर चीज के लिए ब्लेम करोगे तो वो कुछ ना कुछ तो बच्चे तक पहुंचेगा। So like these are the complexities when I explore characters, when I'm writing these characters, मैं अपने बचपन की दो डायलॉग लिख के मैं काट देती हूँ। मैंने कहा ये तो इनके लिए भी बहुत ज्यादा है, ये भी नहीं सह पाएंगे कि ओ भाई तेरे साथ ये हो गया। तो मैं नीचे डाल देती हूँ, guys this is fiction, I'm a great writer, I am not, this was said to me. So आप जब when I'm writing all of these things I make sure कि मैं ट्रिगर वार्निंग डाल दूँ या ट्रिगर वार्निंग डाल रही हूँ तो this is only for women जिन्होंने ये बातें सुनी, and that is pretty much it I guess.
Unfortunately, I can't pursue it anymore, but I will end with you, Mahima. One last question. And this is a pet peeve of mine. Why and how has consumption, the word consumption, entered our discourse? Like, why should everything be about consuming? Why should entertainment, art, cinema be about? I know it's a really difficult question to ask you, but
Yeah, I mean, I would not be able to give you the exact moment and who coined this term, but I think the units of measurement that we choose to put in charge of our lives, I think that's where it comes from, right? Like, how much are you consuming has become something that people chase. And I think to be able to go against the grain, and you as a content creator, for example, I have always worked in tech companies, never created content myself, except for a very brief period last year where I did some book reviews on YouTube, and I did 10-minute reviews, and I got so many messages from people saying, it's so long. Can you do a 1.5 minute? And I said, well, I'm not really doing it for I mean, I'm not looking to monetize it really, so it doesn't matter. I'll just do what I want. But in the end, like I found a lot of people who are like me in the sense that they like the same books as me, or maybe they like the videos or whatever, and they watched it, and they watched maybe 8 minutes, maybe not the whole 10 minutes, but how you spend your time on the internet. I mean, every hour is not created equal. And so, how you choose to spend your time. Sometimes I think this consumption thing and this thing about attention, people think, oh, there's no attention in the world. But, I'm hearing, I mean, it's not like I'm hearing it for the first time, but if you're sitting and consuming reels, you're doing it for 1 hour. So, you got 1 hour to spare, right? And if you like a show, you'll spend a whole Saturday watching it for 8 hours. So, it's not that we're not unwilling to give our time when we like something. So, we just need to be more mindful about what we are actually consuming. And the only piece of advice I'll give, because there are people younger than me and you've got a way to go, is be mindful of what you're consuming. You consume a lot of things you like, and I think that's great. But do read the news, and read the news in a holistic manner. Don't only rely on reading the news through social media feeds. Pick up the newspaper and see why is something on page 1 versus why is something on page 3, and why is yesterday's news coming to this news. All the answers that you're looking for in terms of how can we represent women's stories and voices, and how can storytelling really enact that change. There are many wheels behind wheels that have to be turned, and so a fuller picture helps us have a bigger impact. So that's all I'll say.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mahima. Uh, do we have questions? No questions, not even one question. Somebody's burning with a question.
Very personal kind of question, but also to do with the panel. Um, I yeah. So my question is that everyone working at these companies or even on the panel, and I've stepped out to see what degree you've done. So because I didn't want to make an assumption, is a techie or has an MBA or has a degree in communication, right? Why is the investment on sensitizing animators and not tech equipping the sensitizers who are in the audience? Because I've done a degree in gender studies, and when my parents ask me कि gender studies के बाद क्या होता है, तो मैं डिग्री पैसे नहीं देगी बट अच्छा इंसान बना देगी. But what about, I mean, most of us here are development sector people, and we know that our pages only have 500 to 600 followers max. I mean, and it takes a lot of time. So, where is that conversation going? And I know you did talk about it, but I wanted to ask.
My question to all of you, and hi, um, um, is that we are creating content for women, and some people also find the content word also quite offensive. Especially filmmakers and other media makers. We're speaking to women who are already aware of all of those things. Sadly, what about the men and boys? Who's going to create the progressive content for men and boys so that the 50% of the problem, or whatever, the 60% of the problem is actually there? So how can we think about that more positive?
They say that women are empowered, but men are not ready for those empowered women. So the gap is huge. How do you fill that? And you said the word very rightly, echo chamber. So that echo chamber, is it helping? And there was one man who said during lunch that this is the first time he has been in a space where there are more women than men. So just creating those spaces, because it's important.
I think that 50% of the population. I think we're 50% of the population and we're enough. It's fine if we don't consume any, if it is something is exclusively for us. And when we talk about creating such spaces for women, men are more than welcome into it. But मैंने देखा है कि जब आप oppressed नहीं होते ना, आपको दूसरों को oppression से निकालने में भी ज़्यादा कोई interest नहीं होता. For that, you have to teach young people to be empathetic, जो कि हमारे syllabus में नहीं है, हमारी upbringings में नहीं है, हमारे like your parents teach you कि ज़्यादा commit मत करके आ जाना, किसी को बांट के मत आ जाना, तुम पहले खुद खाना है इसको. बहुत 5% of parents हैं जो बच्चों को सिखाते हैं कि empathetic कैसे होना है. So ये इतने ग्रास रूट लेवल पे सोशल चेंज आना पड़ेगा कि प्राइमरी स्कूल्स में और इस सब में. दिस इज अ वेरी लॉन्ग प्रोसेस. मुझे अभी हमने जब इस बारे में बात करी थी कि हम क्यों एज अ कंट्री हम इतने आगे एज अ आदमियों की पॉपुलेशन इज लाइक वर्क फोर्स में ज्यादा है, एजुकेशन में ज्यादा है, इस सब में ज्यादा है. आई आई थिंक 70 साल में उन्होंने हमें देखा, हम इतने धीरे 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 आगे बढ़ रहे हैं. दे आर आई थिंक अ लिटिल बिट स्कैर्ड ऑफ दैट पोजिशन, क्योंकि अथॉरिटी धीरे धीरे चेंज हो रही है. तो आई थिंक ऑर्थोडॉक्स मैन आर नेवर गोइंग टू बी कंफर्टेबल विद इट. ब्रिटिशर्स जब यहाँ से जा रहे थे तो हमें नहीं फर्क पड़ता उनसे कि वो जा रहे हैं तो उन्हें कैसा लग रहा है. इट्स फाइन, आप एज लॉन्ग एज यू आर गोइंग एंड नॉट डिस्टर्बिंग अस, I think it's great. Men, as long as you're existing and not disturbing us, you don't have to support us. You don't obstruct the way. Sure, amazing, coexist. But when you can coexist with people who are willing to offer that empathy to you, people who are not willing to see you as an equal, they're not offering you opportunities just because you're a woman. I think they are anyway anti-social elements of the society. We don't have to get along with them. बहुत understanding के बाद भी अगर वो उसी point पे बार बार पहुंच रहे हैं, तो शायद गल उन्हीं का वो है गल. I think. Sorry if it was a naive answer.
The only thing I'll say is that I highlighted the VFX skilling project, but we have tons of things going on for people who actually write scripts or develop scripts on the creative side. And the only other thing I'll say is Breakthrough has also partnered on a report that we did when I work for Bumble, so that's a dating app. So it does look at the experiences of men and also the men who are in a way in a doom loop on the internet. So you have a bad experience and then a bad experience, rejection. I mean, there are a lot of people why people get a little radicalized. And it was in order to look at a whole of society approach, which includes that education, it includes that intervention, it includes the resolution. So, yeah, so I mean, from a policy point of view.
Netflix did an amazing show about it, adolescence.
Yeah.
It is a milestone show that all the boys, or like you need to sit your young boys down and make them see that.
I think it's also an insanely popular show, not just in India but world over. But I think we need to wrap up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was a fantastic panel and a lovely audience. Thank you.
Salman.